Don't get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Oh my gosh.
How many?
Oh, that's upside down.
I am very stoked right now.
Yo.
Because D.
Look at this. We're on this one. Yo.
We have only 2 movies left.
Second to last film right here.
Hell yeah.
Why are you guys so excited about that?
Because
I'll never understand
That means
it.
we get to see our
Because
families
that
again.
big red fool thought he had us, trapped here forever. Little did he know how fast we'd burn through his stupid little list.
Hell yeah.
We're going to be out of here. Only one
What,
more
by next episode?
One more episode
One more
after this
episode.
one, and we will have finished the entire scroll of short films, and off we go back to the real world.
That's it.
Well, I think I'm going to stay here. When that
Good
happens.
riddance. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah,
I
you've
wish
been,
it didn't
a
have
little-
to come down to that.
You've
but-
been a little weird. Why don't you just come with us? Like, we can still do this, but instead of a void, we'll be in a studio, and we can just,
Right, where we'll be in reality, where we'll have to eat, where we have to shit.
You haven't been
You haven't been
defecating
I haven't-
since coming here?
I haven't needed to.
I don't.
You don't have to piss.
Hey, this is Short Film Roundup, the only show on the internet where 3 cursed filmmakers review your short films. User-submitted short films. We are coming very close to the end of our year and the end of this list.
Yes.
Which means it's award season.
Award season
Yeah.
here
Award
at Karmanlinestudios.
Yeah.
That's right. We will be having our first ever award show
That's right.
on January 1st. And you can find our nominations video is live now
Yeah.
on our channel.
Right there,
Yep.
linked. Bam.
Boom. And see the films that were nominated from this year's collection.
And do know that it included all the films up until December 31st.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even films that we haven't reviewed yet were in consideration.
Even the
for
film
the
we're
awards.
reviewing today. So, speaking of which, should we dive right in then? What are we reviewing today, D? Let's get this over with and move on to the next one and go back to
Go back home.
Earth.
Your loss.
So today is Ghost Can, directed by Jordan Barnes-Crouse.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a great name.
So if you
Jordan
happen to not be this
Barnes-Crouse.
filmmaker, but you have a film of your own, you can submit it to us, and we'll review it on this show.
Yeah. There's a link down in the description, a form. You can fill out the form, send us your film. We'll review it. Unfortunately, it'll probably have to be in
It'll be on
real
Earth.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, back at
Since
our own studio.
I assume we are going to be getting
where we can have like walls around us and props and all
Yeah.
kinds of things.
That'll be nice.
And
nice.
link to the film we're reviewing today is also down in the description. So you got to go watch that film and then come back and let us know what you thought of the film. And then
Listen to us pontificate
listen to us review it
and fight.
Indeed.
and disagree or whatever. Yep.
Let's go watch the film.
Here we go. Go watch it now.
Boom.
All right, here we are.
That's the sound it makes when we come back. Boom.
We're back.
Like a very mild boom.
Boom. Who did we end with last time?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Ooh.
Who keeps
Doesn't
track of this
matter.
stuff?
Okay.
Just flip a coin.
Kenny. All right.
All right.
Kenny.
Well,
This is Ghost Can. Tell us about Ghost Can.
okie dokie. What can I say about Ghost Can? It has high production quality pretty much throughout. It's shot nicely. It's lit really nicely. You have some cool locations. The story is just not good. Man, that's my biggest flaw here. Just sort of tonally all over the place. I kind of get what we're going for is that he's not the world's greatest boyfriend, and so when he gets his comeuppance at the end, we're also be like, haha, it's funny, and she high fives the ghost, right?
Right.
The film succeeded in making me dislike this guy, but failed in making me like her.
Yeah.
I felt like we really could have used maybe a little more character development. I'm not rooting for her, so therefore I'm not excited when, nor am I scared when she's being attacked by this ghost.
Right. It feels all very generic. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and a bit scatterbrained in sense of the intent of the movie. Like, it's really not totally clear till the very end that the intent was to make you laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
which made like the really sort of fun, cheesy, practical effect. It made when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate because it looks like a joke.
Right.
It looks like a gag.
Oh,
ghost.
That's funny.
That's what my first impression was. Oh, that's too bad that it looks like a joke ghost. Only to find out it's meant to be a joke. This is a setup and a gag sort of movie, a joke short. But the tone wasn't consistent, so right. I didn't really know where we were going, and the joke didn't land.
It felt like they were trying to do two different things here. It felt like they were trying to both make the boyfriend unlikable and at the same time be on the side of the unlikable person, which was the girl, because we have her in the beginning, kind of like scoffing the whole time.
Yeah. It actually, at the beginning, it felt like he's genuinely like a caring boyfriend, and she's like not at all. Well, not a boyfriend, but just not like she like throws his cotton candy on the ground. She's rolling her eyes at him the whole time.
Yeah. She's like
I don't want to be here.
Right. You get very uncomfortable.
Which makes you not really like her, right? And then we end up not really liking him either. This guy,
awesome.
Ringleader dude.
Oh yeah, this
circus
dude was awesome. Yeah.
Freak, whatever he is.
Yeah, and then she's there smoking outside, like I give a fuck.
Yeah, he's the best thing in this movie. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
he's a great character, and I like this Wes Anderson ball effect.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I felt anime to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
congratulations, my boy, you won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my initial. You go, Taylor.
I would largely agree with you. Actually, entirely agree with you.
Oh, for once.
I definitely felt like I didn't really like either of these characters. And one of the bigger things that was weird to me was when he wins the can and he tries to give it to her, but she does not want it. So he puts the can in her bag without her knowing. I realize that's kind of like maybe like a cute thing you would do, like with like a stuffed animal maybe.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it felt malicious to me, and it felt malicious to me because did we know that the can was like haunted at that point?
Well, only that the guy said it was.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that's
true or
right.
not.
True.
Yeah. The way the boyfriend said, he said something to her here, and she said, "There's no ghost in the can, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, the intent wasn't clear. Like, why is he doing that? I don't quite get it.
It felt a little bit, I don't know why. I think it is motivated, but it felt unmotivated.
To me,
weird,
it
right?
felt cowardly the first time that I had, because
like he was afraid of the can. He's like, yeah, you take it.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I felt like he was doing it to get back at her. He's like, well, you're being like this to me. Well, here, take this ghost who's gonna haunt you. That's the impression.
And then later
that I
he
got.
comes back with flowers because he feels bad about it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sorry, I gave you the can that was haunting you. I regret it. I shouldn't have done
that.
that.
And then the ghost melts him, and she gives the ghost a high five.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at that moment, I didn't understand under that guise and that emotion, that feeling that I had, that it was malicious. I could not understand why he would be being a malicious kind of guy, because he never struck me. He's kind of wimpy. He's not a good date, but he did not strike me as having malicious intent at all.
This whole part in the beginning for me was really weird, because I think it's mainly because I have trouble listening to people when they're just mumbling. But that's what it felt like this guy was doing the whole time here, was just like, yeah, I totally knew you were going to be my girlfriend. And then he's taking pictures, and he's like, oh, you went out the pink flamingo, dang it. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
What is all this? I feel like what's supposed to be happening here is that he's trying to recreate like a picture that they had before or something. And he's totally 100% into it, and she's not. But I didn't get that vibe at all.
No.
It just feels like he's taking a picture and he's just not.
It's also suggesting that they've been together a long, long time.
Yeah.
And they do not feel like they're friends.
Yeah.
I could believe that this is one of their like first dates.
That's what it felt like to me.
No, it felt like the first time we watched this, because we watched this multiple times. The first time that I watched this, it felt like he hired her to be a date. Is what
He's
it
an
felt
Instagram
like.
model.
Yeah, and it felt like that him taking the picture of her now was like proof that he's getting that he has a girlfriend.
For like his family and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
His first line is that when he first took this picture of her. Oh, it says match.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Tinder.
Oh, is this a dating thing?
Yeah.
Oh, he saw that picture of her, decided that they're a match, and now he wants to recreate that picture, I guess.
That's so weird.
I don't know.
That's so weird.
But go back to where the reverse of this shot, where he's taking the pictures of her.
And the phone's on the ground.
The phone is really low, and you're hearing this chick, 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 like he's taking pictures. But it's clearly not pointing at her unless she's like downhill from it. And that distracted me and then made me think, why would he be holding it there? My guess is that he's reading his lines.
Oh, that's weird.
That's funny.
He's texting.
But that is where you would hold it if you were reading.
Yeah.
Unless, now, obviously the photo taking sound was added later.
Yeah.
So maybe in his mind, he's looking at the pictures he's taken and not taking them.
Yeah. They probably decided that in post.
Yeah, but it did not look like he was taking pictures right there.
Right. I was gonna say
I like the lighting in this scene.
Yeah, I love the lighting.
The lighting's really cool, and the location is really cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that I think had they just made him, like, even at this part, just take pictures of just her, like, boobs or something, just to
make him a little more
sleazy.
Cringy.
Yeah. Then you'd definitely be like, oh yeah, this guy's.
Yeah, he's kind of
against
jerk.
this guy.
Right, but yeah, he's too much of a mix of like lovable buffoon and sort of just inconsiderate.
Yeah,
he's never dirtbag.
Yeah, and if anyone's mean in here, it's
her,
which is weird.
yeah. So that it's a tone problem.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the practical effects?
Yeah.
The awesome practical.
Yeah, I love these practical effects with the ghost. I think they look fantastic.
I hated this effect.
That's a little janky.
But this part was awesome.
But when the ghost comes in here,
yeah,
like in a second here, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like that looks
it's
fantastic.
so silly looking.
It's very like Power Rangers. Feel.
Yeah.
But that's awesome if the tone is suggesting that we're watching something campy and like a joke, right?
Which felt that way this way, because like even the way she's acting, she doesn't look horrified.
Yeah.
And this bit's great. I love when he looks to the door like, huh, who's this? That
door,
part was
like,
funny.
get the door, yeah.
that genuinely worked.
Yeah.
When he shows up out the door here is pretty funny.
I love that. Yeah, I wish the whole movie was like this.
Was
scene,
this section? Yeah.
Like the first chunk, all the setup stuff was not consistent with this section of the movie.
So I'm beginning to wonder oh, by the way, we're about to see a very fun practical effect.
Oh yeah.
Right. Raiders.
That's so fun.
Yeah, total Raiders of the Lost Ark style face melt. It was pretty great.
I just love that you did that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. But I was about to say, I'm beginning to wonder or question, am I a broken record who just harps on character development in every episode, or is character development just that hard to get right? Or is it just sort of universally ignored by young filmmakers? Well, it's such a common thing we keep coming back to over and over again.
No, I
in
think
these
it's
short
a genuine
films,
problem.
Where the first act is sort of what all these films we cover tend to hinge upon.
Yeah,
is what they give us in that first act as it sets the tone and develops the characters.
Right.
Well, I think character development is for me, it's definitely one of the hardest aspects of writing and making a film. Like, I even actively avoid it just because of how difficult it is.
I think it's really hard to write. I think it's really hard to intentionally like
right, because you
character
don't want to
development.
be on the nose,
Right.
and yet you need to reveal enough.
Yeah.
I think what it hinges on is that whole 2+2 thing that we talk about, where if you just show a character doing
You mean
something,
the Andrew Stanton 2+2
Yes.
concept?
yes,
Go on.
where you give some information and it's just like what the character does, and then the audience puts in other information of their own, which is, oh, I get it, that character does this because they're this way, right? And so the people understand the personality through your character's actions, and that's why I think we picked up so much of a negative vibe on the girl. It's because all she's doing throughout the whole thing is just being rude to the guy,
Yeah.
you know. So I think that's all character development needs, is just action.
Yeah. So what we have here is a standard joke film, which is a common thing we see on Short Film Roundup a lot, which means setup
And payoff.
and payoff, right? And I feel like they nailed the payoff.
Right.
Like from second act on, this is all dialed to be a very good conclusion of a very funny joke.
Yeah.
But it's just not funny because we're
Because the
not.
setup.
Yeah, the setup's not there, so we're not invested. Like, we're not in for the ride. We're not engaged.
Right.
It's funny because this is sort of a horror comedy, and I'm just going to point out how horror actually works the same way. It doesn't matter how many scary things you have in a horror. They're not scary if you don't care about the characters you're looking at.
Right.
You don't care what happens to them.
Which is why, by the way,
Unless you have that setup.
most horror movies rely on jump scares, and why a lot of people think jump scares are bad, because there's no character development required for them to effectively work.
And which is why the possession of Hannah Grace was absolute garbage.
That
Dang.
sounds like a feature film.
Oh,
So
sorry.
What?
why don't you just hold that,
My
keep
bad.
that opinion to yourself. This is Short Film Roundup.
My bad. Sorry.
Now-
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's a shame actually because the last 2/3 is expertly
Absolutely
pulled off.
Yeah, because it's so fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Super fun.
Yeah.
I wish the whole movie
It's
was
just
like that.
what I think what we needed really was just to know that the guy was despicable, you know, and he wasn't.
Yeah, and the girl a little more likable.
Yeah. And even if the girl wasn't that likable, like we didn't get either end, you know.
The can says preserved wrath.
Wraith. This is Wraith.
Wraith.
Oh, wraith. Even better.
That's
I
kinda
love
awesome.
the set decoration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cinematography and the lighting and all of it was really cool.
Yeah. It's shot almost flawlessly,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, no, I felt like it was a person who worked in film quite a long time, and they're just like, hey, let's make a short.
Yeah, it's clear that like this is an experienced filmmaker.
Yeah.
The bus moment.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I
interesting.
wanted to bring up. One, it just seems sort of a weird piece of the story as to why.
This happens.
But yeah, why the goodbye at the bus? It's awkwardly, I mean, I guess I'd call it blocking, even though they're not moving, but having him standing at the door of the bus when the door shuts and rolls away, it almost make him look a little disturbed, you know? Like, no one just stands on the bus and glides away like that. Like, it's a little creepy. But my actual question about the bus is far more practical. How'd you get a bus?
Well, I want to know why you got a bus. So, like, we talked about it a little bit. We're like, oh, maybe because the boyfriend doesn't have a car and he's that lame, you know?
Yeah. Every choice you make in your film
Yeah.
conveys intent,
But
whether
I'm like,
you intended to or not. So
this-
this is saying, hey, you have a boyfriend who rides the bus. So what does that mean? Why are we telling us
Well,
that?
this makes so many things so much more complicated. Like, first of all, if you're like, okay, so say the boyfriend needs to not have a car, like, fine. So what you write in there is that he's on the bus and that he somehow drops her off or something like that, or she walks him to the bus or something. But then you have to pull together the fact that you have to get a bus, you have to set up a shot where he's on the bus, and
So there's obviously
Logistically,
there's some
yeah,
intent
difficult.
here,
Yeah.
right? Why would you go through the
why
trouble?
would you go through all that trouble, right?
Right.
And the thing is, like, he doesn't come off again as a guy who is just so lame that
No, despite what I said about it being sort of a creepy looking weird shot,
yeah.
it kind of adds to his endearment.
Right.
As being
right.
like, oh, he's an
Takes
honest,
public
hardworking
transportation.
guy who rides the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what they were going for is that he's really lame, right?
I don't know.
I think that.
What were you going for?
What they were trying to go for.
Because, yeah.
And how did you actually get a bus?
That's what I'm wondering. Did you just like ask a bus if you could get this shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like was it like
And
gorilla?
it's really well lit.
Well, yeah. Look at it. Looks like there's a light inside the bus.
I think they just. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
That's
there's
really
no
interesting.
shadow of that door, so.
Or maybe they just before even making this at all, like some guy was like, "Hey man, I got access to a bus if you ever need a bus," and then they just wrote it in.
That does happen. I've had that.
Maybe. It's funny because right here she looks like what he did was just super creepy, which was just
It
saying
did.
bye.
That's what I mean. This like little sequence is bizarre.
And she's like, ugh, I can't believe he said bye. I think what they were trying to go for, I think, was that she was just tired of him.
Yeah, and maybe even a little creeped out
And maybe-
and
maybe a little
uncomfortable. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then the text later, they say, "Hey, are you still awake?" And then a smiley face,
Yeah.
which I think was supposed to add more of this, like he's just like a overbearing, not getting out of her face sort of boyfriend.
They still feel
But
like
it still
new.
felt kind of like it didn't even go so far as needy. It just felt like,
Just
oh,
like, hey, what's
he's
up?
into you.
Yeah.
He cares,
Is
you
it-
know? And like, oh, he's just sort of a sensitive guy and he likes you.
Is this a winky face? Is that what that is?
Something like that.
Because
Can't
if it's
see.
a winky face, then that means, hey, you still up?
Come over. Am I right?
Come over, Netflix, and chill.
Am I right? I met you off of Swipe and
Yeah, I'll
Stop.
get on another bus.
Yeah. That's so weird. Yeah, that was another thing, was he says, hey, you still up after they ended their date.
And now
because
it's
it's-
1:43 in the morning.
Right, which I think is the only part that tells us it's far later.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't get that when I was watching it. It felt like she came home and then he's like, hey, you still up? I'm like, you just saw her walk away. So,
the time gap was not.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
There.
you didn't see the time gap really.
I actually didn't even notice that it was 1:43
I didn't
until
either.
just now.
Saturday, August 6th.
And it's
Oh.
August. Did you see that?
Dated. It's December. Come
He's
on,
got
man.
you there. He's got you there.
Yeah.
What was it like? Stonehenge dated.
Stonehenge. Dated.
Totally unrelated.
So,
What else? Okay. Anything else to say? If not, questions.
I don't have much else to say. I don't have anything else to say.
What else to
Other
say?
than it just, it was all payoff and no setup.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. The performances
Performances were pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
decent.
solid.
he has great facial expressions and things. I just kind of feel like he wasn't given the right direction and the right backstory. He just was the wrong character.
Yeah.
The setup was fumbled.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Setup was fumbled, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, this worked really well in the later end. Yeah, I guess my questions to you would be, what kind of films do you usually make, and is this is this on par with what you usually make? Do you usually make longer ones, shorter ones, comedies? Or is this something that's in your bag all the time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and specifically to that end, I'd want to know is comedy your thing? There's been a lot of times where we've seen have a comedy where it just didn't quite hit, and then we find out, oh yeah, I usually make dramas,
Drama.
and I
And the
decided to
drama
make
is
a
actually
comedy,
amazing.
and you're like, well, that's okay. But yeah, what is your filmmaking background? And if you have other work, we would love to see it.
Yeah.
because,
Yeah,
man,
because this is
your
like-
effect stuff is freaking awesome.
Yeah, the effects are amazing.
Yeah.
And let's not. We spent 2/3 of this episode talking about the botched setup. Let's not completely forget that virtually all of the other technical specs of this
Oh yeah,
are
Are just
completely
great, yeah,
dialed.
yeah.
sound was
Sound-
amazing.
Sound
Yeah.
sound design was
Yeah.
very good.
Lighting's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
My question would be is how did you achieve the Wes Anderson style baseball throw? Because it looks like stop motion animation to me, but I love I just love that.
It's weird that you guys call it Wes Anderson.
Because you haven't watched a lot of Wes Anderson movies.
It looks like
that
anime to me.
is a Wes Anderson thing.
Yeah.
That's just anime.
That is Wes Anderson-esque.
But just animating is Wes Anderson.
No, anime.
Anime?
Anime.
Wes
Oh.
Anderson is anime, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why he has those huge eyes. And boobs.
Ooh.
Wes Anderson has boobs?
Uh-huh.
Anime Wes Anderson.
Oh. Okay.
You know what they say.
Sure.
You
It's
know
all
what
about
I mean?
finding that balance.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for submitting Ghost Can to Short Film Roundup.
Yep.
And attention, rest of the filmmaking world, you can have your film
No, we already did that.
No.
ridiculed
We already did it.
Can't do that.
by us.
We already did that.
They already know that.
Yeah,
already
but
know.
they watched this,
Yeah.
and now after they're going like,
There's no one else here.
what?
They already left. They said, okay, now that we're done, and then like click.
So-
they clicked off.
If you're still watching, other filmmakers.
Wait.
Hey, filmmakers.
Wait.
Hello.
Wait.
Why?
Yes.
We only have one more movie.
Huh?
One more movie.
I know. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did.
We're to the end of the list.
Yeah. We have one more.
So the next episode's the last episode.
Next
Last
episode is the last
episode in the void.
Then again, short
Suck
film roundup's
it,
over. Huh?
Payman.
Well, short film roundup.
No, we can do short film roundup still, but we're going to do it on our own terms.
own terms.
Yeah.
I do. it
We're
on
going
my
to do
own
it
terms.
whenever we want.
Whenever
No,
we
no,
want.
We'll
it'd
do
be
it in our
on
studio.
your terms.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah, well, we still care for the human race.
You know, maybe Kenny
Okay.
and I will just make
Why?
our own short film.
Oh,
roundup.
we should just do our own.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there is something weird that's been going on. I don't know what he has on you, but he has you under your thumb, and I want to get to the bottom of it.
Are you sleeping?
You all right? Taylor?
Taylor.
Taylor. Taylor? Taylor?
Hello?
Taylor?
Hello?
Taylor.
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 Taylor.